So I've done a bit more than I thought I'd do. I just I'm carried away a bit. Two things that are interesting. The charcoal, as it's working, is on this paper, isn't black. So whereas that one you saw me do yesterday, it's definitely dense and creates a solid dark tone. I won't say it's black, but it's, you know what I mean. It's solid. This doesn't, and I've kind of you can see it's still got that relationship of tones. And what's happening with this charcoal is that it's almost like creating a depth of tone, because of the sort of multiple lines maybe that I'm using, or something like that. That and a combination of me smudging it around, and it's getting quite painterly, and in terms of the like this, and just ruining it completely. But in terms of the nature of the strokes, if you like, or the nature of the tonal application, it's just something I noticed. It's not like a deliberate thing. I just noticed it's doing that. I'm trying to add, depth to it. But as I'm doing that, what's happening is this. It's almost like a multifaceted tone. You see, it's doing it there. It's not quite dark and it's not quite grey, but it's still. So some of the marks are still dense enough. And this is probably what I'm talking about when I say expect the unexpected, and sort of go with it. If I'd tried to make it as dark as that one yesterday, as much as I'm trying now, I can't do that. And I've tried using the other charcoal, but what I'd used yesterday doesn't go on. It's the paper. The paper's just not. It's probably just not made for charcoal. Having said that, I must have done 1,000 portraits on this paper, so it's just what you get used to, I think. One of the things I would say is that I'd rather go with, because what I'm trying to do is get this, this here. You can see this. There's like on the photograph. You see, there's kind of an invisible integration there, as that those things belong to each other. You know what I mean? They sort of. There's no edge. It's just fuzzy. So I'm trying to do that with it, and it happened on last night when I was trying to do the, to make it a painting, not a drawing. It kind of happened on there. You see on this bit here. You see how much darker it is. It's just the paper. You see what I mean? But this here, this is me. The background is part of the foreground. There's kind of and it's sort of down here as well, as you can see. So it's what I was saying earlier about the, working with the background. It's almost like, and I think I said it on that drawing as well. It's almost like the background is, and its tonal relationship with the face or the hair is as important to the kind of the integration, the kind of the you see how this is starting to like feel like it's a full-on belonging to the to the environment, because that's one of the things about this if anything you'd say anything about that, it's about the environmental thing. I mean, there's a slight fuzziness, a sort of milkiness, out of focus feeling about it, and that haze that makes it belong to its background. It's that, I think, and then what I'm relating to is exactly that, because that's what makes this an attractive image. So I'm trying to make it to feel like that, to have that hazy belonging thing. I've got a problem, I think, at the moment with position of things. I think it's still a little bit too, but it might be other things. on the one I've just shown you, the distance thing, you know, this distance here, which is on this is so far. It's there or thereabouts. It's not quite near enough, but I'll keep sort of tweaking it until it feels right. You see, it's just so close. It's so close. I think one of the things as well is that I'm still going to have to just lose the, you know, the tone thing. You know, when you draw something, you think, oh, it's great, that bit there. I'm going to leave that there. You know, it looks really good, but it doesn't matter how good it looks. If it's not right, it's not right. So, you know, you've done that before where you've just drawn an eye and think, oh, look how great that eye is. And then if it doesn't look right, it's got to go, I'm afraid. So you get embedded within a drawing because of the components being good. And at the end of the day, it's not. It doesn't matter how good it is. You still got to fix it. You've still got to make it feel right. Yeah, like I was saying with this charcoal, because of it being grey, it has this. It's almost like a graphite feel about it, but it's got quite a lot of depth, even though it's grey. You know, there's a lot of increments of tone, which is good because it's it just gives it a little bit more depth. You can see on the side of the face there. I'm trying. I don't want to get into smoothing it and blending it and things. So it's going to like that one I've just shown you from last night. It's not my thing to blend them and to make them look super smooth and photographic, which is what the concern was with making the background smooth on that one, and how it creates an imbalance between the other parts of it, and whether or not I'd have to make the face smooth and the tones on the face smooth. But no, I'm still in that. Well, I'll always will be in that camp that they have to, you know, a portrait drawing like this has to feel like a drawing, not a super duper mimicking, you know, dead smooth, perfectly blended type of face. It's just like, and nowadays, I've never really liked that thing anyway. That pencil painting thing, although I could call this pencil painting, but the nowadays AI copies exactly that, and that's the reason why it's got to have this element of error about it, you know, a feeling of wrongness about it. I think that's something that you'd always, and all of those wrong elements, those wrong marks that you make, they're all part of your response. They're all part of it. It's just I'm not talking about getting things in the wrong place. I'm on about the, you know, so the marks that are that seem to be in the wrong place, or they're treated in a particular way that's not consistent. There's no, you know, when people paint with digital brushes and you see the constant marks, you know, you can tell a digital painting anyway, because it's the marks are, even if they try and use these fancy brushes, you're still going to get this uniformity in the marks. And it's the lack of uniformity, I think, that makes it special, because often they're just response marks. They're just driven by the way you're responding to the subject. You can't mimic those sort of things. And as I said, I kind of like that bit. I like the wrongness element of it. As I said before, it's the drum machine thing, you know, many years ago when they brought them out, and now to reintroduce the human error into it, didn't make it sound like a drum, because people didn't relate to it because it was too uniform and too perfect. But it's that And I think that's the same for what we're doing, the painting or drawing. I wanted to put that on because at some point I'm going to put these hairs up on the side of her face there too. So until I've got this kind of where I want it to be, I can't. I'm probably going to try and make the face a little darker, and I'm also going to just look at the width of things. At the moment, I'm getting pretty much. I'm getting something saying that has to come in there, so I'm just looking at this distance from there to there, and it's not a lot, but it's just enough to throw off the measurements that I'm making, the comparisons. It's kind of like there, if anywhere, and then this one here. Yeah, it's good because I was thinking about the ear being looking a little bit too big, and standing out. So that's quite good. That, and that's going to bring the hair in as well, which is good. The ear is not really visible anyway, so take all that out. I think I'm going to, as I try to increase the density of that there, I think the density of of this bit here, this door jamb, I think she's stood against a door, so that door jamb there needs to be darker. Yeah, you can see how and then see how that then you see how that then triggers that there. That highlight there that shouldn't be there, it's just lighter. And the other thing as well is that apart from this being darker, I'm trying to get not to take too much off that. Yeah, this bit here, you see how there's another part of the frame that is slightly darker. You see that there? Look, you see how that then starts to. It's because of this relationship between these tones here. There, you see that? It's to do with that. And then, of course, the next thing after that, as I start to make these two belong, there's the other ones here. You see how this no longer it's a bit too light. Yeah, so what's happening much better. So my tonal considerations there are all those. It's a band of three things there. This is I was just thinking then about this is drawing faces, right? It's someone drawing faces, and all I'm concerned with is the way that these shapes actually fit within each other. Yeah, that just seemed to be out of sync with what's going on here. We're drawing a face, surely that's the facial features and bone structure and muscles. So I saw one today of somebody who actually could recite the muscles on a torso. That is just mad. I can't even remember what they call that thing underneath the nose, let alone the muscles in the face. It's just incredible. Yeah, so this grayness of this charcoal, it almost creates a there's a range, but the darkest it's going to be is that, but it has quite a few ranges, steps between that and getting to white. And I think that's kind of what you gotta sort of work along, manipulate that. If you can't go dark, then it can't go dark, like the one that last night. You can't do that, then it can't do it. But I've got to work within the tonal capacity of this charcoal. But it's actually the paper that's the problem, not the charcoal. This is what, when people ask me about charcoal and paper, I always say, just get loads and see which is the best fit. Because they're working in unison. They can't have. It's about paper and charcoal. It's not just about charcoal. And this thing about buying paper that's advised for charcoal, that suitable for thing that says on the packet. That's pretty much, you could ignore that. It's down to you and how you work with it, how you apply it, the pressure you apply. There's all kinds of things that determine whether or not the combination of charcoal, a particular charcoal and paper, is suitable for you. There's all kinds of things. You just have to, unfortunately, buy lots and play, and then find one that works for you. There's no way around it. You've got to do that. I'm just trying to establish the overall shape. I've talked about this thing before, about the shape isolation thing. When I get to a certain point and I'm looking at the, you can see this, the flow of this thing. I'm looking at eliminating all the components within the middle and thinking about this, the shape, the trajectory of the elements, the way that whether I'm checking distances as well, that one there, but at the same time I'm just looking at the overall shape of the face, and that kind of shape there, adjusting it basically, and trying to fix it a little bit as well. I think the width of it is throwing the problem. You see this bit here, because I can see, you probably can't see that. Oh, you can, yeah. That bit there, which is affecting the trajectory of that, yeah, as you can see now, the upper part of the head there. And then I think, as I'm looking at it now, I think I'm still thinking this is too deep, too wide. Yeah. It's just little things as well that throw it a little bit. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, problem with the this being too dark under the chin, or being too isolated there, it tends to throw the bottom, the chin out, so it makes it look like she's sticking the chin out. So fix that. She's a bit, her chin does stick out a little bit, but not that much. Yeah, I'm going to kill that area a little bit too. Okay. Yeah, so I think the next thing, I might end up putting a little bit more of a sharp on the cheekbone there. And making it a little rounder on a neck there as well. It's not that much, doesn't come out that much there, it only comes out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, increasing the density of things just to get the balance right. There's just it's darker underneath the chin, obviously on the neck there, and then there's the it's a little lighter there like that. Looks a bit short on that bit there underneath there. But I think that's probably because the top lip is too big. Yeah, and a little bit too big on that side as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to progressively make the face darker and darker. I can see it, so it's very probably more in line with the tones of the things around it. I can see it doing that and getting more and more like it belongs, part of the background thing. watching this live. I'm sorry about YouTube being poor, but unfortunately these days it's not good for live. I try not to do that. In fact, I'm recording this, so you'll see a recorded version of it as well. But YouTube. So I think as you can see, basically what it's about for me is the tonal relationships, whether it's a high contrast one like last night or whether it's this one. It's all about the relationships, and I'm trying to make them get along. It's obviously about defining the shapes and giving the thing depth and all the rest of it and form, but it's still about the relationships of the tones that do that. And if the tones, like in this instance, are difficult to manage because of the medium, the materials and the medium, then that's really where I spend most of my time, trying to make the medium and the materials behave like I want them to behave, so I can create the illusion of form. But anyway, so I'm going to leave it to that because the live version keeps dropping. But I'm going to finish this off, and I'll put a final one on, and I'll talk through what happened. I still have to create that slight haze about it, which probably means a little less detail in the in definition in the edges of things. So it's kind of just a little bit blurred in places, but I won't get into smudging it or blending it with the sponge thing, because I think that would probably defeat the object of it. It being a drawing as opposed to it trying to be a photograph, because that's the danger with these. This is a perfect one of those. You can make it easily a photographic rendering thing, but I don't want to do that. I still want to keep this kind of thing in there. So it's just a balance between the two. I think that's what I'm going for.